Pwede, walang problema. Ano ang main problema ninyo ng Kuya Mang Gloria?
Okay, good evening again. So let's check if everyone can hear me well. Please send a message on the chat page if you can hear me and see my PowerPoint slide. Okay, thank you, Eric and Angie. Everyone else, are you ready to get started? Okay, so all right. So good evening, everyone, and welcome to the first timers to this webinar. This webinar is designed to help boost our confidence and morale as entrepreneurs. And here we talk about topics to help us understand better the journey towards success. Telecon lang. So we have this webinar at the end of our weekend in order to help us start the week Monday on a positive note. So tonight we're gonna talk about a concept called the ascent of a champion, also called climbing the mountain of life. So this topic is lifted from a book called The Adversity Quotient. So here we will talk about how all of us pursue a certain, go through a certain journey, and all of us have mountains to climb. And in each of our experiences and in each of our different circumstances, we have different responses. And today we're going to talk about the three different types of people concerning the mountain of life. So, first we need to understand what are the different levels in the mountain. When you climb a mountain, the first level, the objectives get to the peak, which is the highest point in the mountain. In the peak, the weather is cooler, and you see the entire world. You see the bigger picture, and you are on top of everyone else. The second level is what you call the mid-level campground. Normally, this is where people who get started, they are this is what like their halfway point. Umaga sa biyahe parang siesta, merong kainan and pahingahan before they reach the peak of the mountain. And the third is the foot of the mountain. The foot of the mountain is where most of us begin our journey. This is where we start our pursuit of a peak. So this is where we, kung sa race pa, this is a starting line. So first thing that I'd like to ask is all of us have goals in our lives, and off the cuff, I'd like to invite everyone to just quickly think what would you define as the peak in your life? How would you describe, if you describe full achievement and self-actualization for yourself? What is the peak of your mountain of life? So I'll give you a minute to just reflect a little bit. what is that peak in your mountain of life? So all of us, at one point in our lives, we have decided to pursue something bigger in our lives. And at this point, each of us have different perspectives on what we want to pursue and achieve in our lives. Wherever it is, whatever it is, what's important is that we are clear on what the peak represents for us at this time. So now we're going to talk about the three types of people in that ascent of the mountain of life. The first type of people in the ascent is the quitter. I'll talk more about that later. The second is the camper, and the third is the climber. So let me describe one by one. The quitter is the person who, upon arriving at the foot of the mountain, sees how daunting, how huge the challenge in front of him is. And even before he gets started, he decides to opt out and cop out. Mm, maybe this is not for me. Maybe I'll just stay here. I'll wait for you guys to come back. They're intimidated by the climb. So what ends up happening even before they get started, they abandon the climb and they refuse the opportunity the mountain represents in their lives. So if you've watched The Simpsons before, this Homer Simpson is the perfect example of this. So who is the quitter? Here's a short comic strip from Dilbert. So Dilbert was asking his office mate, "Hey, I hear you're a job hopper. I like to think I have high standards. Are you aware that all jobs require you to do things you'd rather not do? That's why they have to pay you. Perhaps your expectations are unrealistic. I quit. I'm going someplace where my coworkers will never waste my time." So, how many of you know people when they experience a little bit of challenge, they decide to redirect their attention somewhere else. And what happens is that it becomes a perpetual redirection of their efforts. When at the first sign of a challenge or obstacle, they shift to another industry or another line. And so what ends up happening from a 1 to 10, 10 being a full achievement, they keep on getting to 5. And they when the challenge is too big, then they say I want to do something else, and never do they go past 5 and never do they hit a level 10 type of success. This is the quitter. The second type of people are people who are campers. Who are the campers? Campers are people who only go so far. So what happens? They start the journey, and when they go up the journey, of course, they encounter the challenges. And when they encounter the challenges, they are now more in touch about what uh, the mountain or the ascent demands of them, what kind of results the what kind of investment the ascent requires of them. So then they see a flat surface on the mountain, and they reach that, and they make a decision to say, okay, I'll just stay here first. They terminate their ascent and find a smooth, comfortable plateau where they can hide from our adversity. O, dito na lang ako, kaya na lang dyan matuloy. I'll just wait for you here. Kasi dito mas safe and okay na akong papahingan na ako. So, these are people who go only so far and they say to themselves, this is as far as I can, or they give them as an excuse, this is as far as I want to go. So, parang ayaw nila pilitin yung sarili na, sige, dito na lang ako. So they view success as a destination versus a journey. Anyway, at least masabi ko nakaakit ako ng mountain. So they are only successful in reaching the campground, but they are not successful in achieving the peak. So, how many times have you decided to pursue something bigger in your life and you pursue it up to half time, but once you get into the more difficult part and you experience a plateau, then you decide to either stay there or not pursue the climb anymore. The third type of people are the people that we call climbers. These people are people who are dedicated to the lifelong ascent. Their main goal is to continuously overcome their limitations and their challenges, and they are possibility thinkers, never allowing any obstacle to get in the way of the ascent. So these are people who are unwilling to compromise the pursuit of their dreams. So dito, of course, we see Manny Pacquiao. A lot of people challenge him to stay where he is as a boxer, and he has achieved his boxing success. He has decided to go into politics and into basketball, and he doesn't really care what other people say. What he really cares about is that if he is pushing himself forward to pursue the peak that he has set for himself. So we're gonna talk about the camper climber and the quitter in different aspects of life. And as we talk about these different elements, I encourage everyone to
Ano pag
assess in each of these elements where you are currently and where you know you should be. So let's talk about lifestyle. So normally, the campers, they lead the quitters. Okay, isa-isa natin to. Lifestyle ng quitter. Ano ba yung lifestyle ng quitter? Number one, they lead compromised lives. So they're not truly happy with their lives and they're not doing anything about it. What else? They abandon their dreams. So may pangarap sila ngayon, they, they, they don't want to talk about dreams kasi they'll just feel bad about themselves. Bitter, depressed, frustrated, regretful. Yan. Yung mahilig manood ng telenovela, mahilig mag-chismis. Okay. Annalyn Garridos, please mute your mic. Okay. They spend time in junk TV and other time wasters to pass the time. So what is junk TV? Telenovela, news, time wasters will be, sorry to say this, computer games, Candy Crush, even Facebook for chismis. So they suffer greater pain in the long term because their abandonment of their dreams becomes a source of bitterness and regret. Second type of people in terms of lifestyle are the campers. They have compromised lives only to a certain degree, not to a full degree. Di bale, I will not pursue this peak. Dito naman ako at least medyo malamig na rin and masabi ko makita ko ng mountain. At least I'm trying, I've done to a certain degree. They're content with the trade-off. What is the trade-off? They focus on keeping what is versus what could be. Oh, I'm okay to stay here anyway. It's already enough. Anyway, PNG manager na naman ako, maganda naman kinikita ko. Pwede na siguro to. Sikat na naman ako sa mga peers ko. Hindi ako totally masaya, pero okay na. So what they do instead is they refocus their energy to make the campground more comfortable. How do they make the campground more comfortable? Simple lang. They buy a new laptop, they buy a new watch, they go on vacations. I was talking to an office mate who resigned recently, and she travels to Europe twice, thrice a year. And I asked her, "Oh, kumusta? Do you still travel now?" Sabi niya, actually, no. To be honest, it was just an escape. Now, since I am already resigned, from my job, I don't feel the need anymore to travel because my life is much better now. So the camper, they refocus their energy to make the campground more comfortable. So their bedroom more comfortable. They buy flat screen TVs to watch TV the whole day. So they forgo progress for comfort. These are the campers. Now, sino naman yung mga climbers? Climbers are the people who live life fully and they have a very deep sense of purpose and passion. They understand what their life is meant for and they are unwilling to compromise their values and who they are for comfort. So they're willing to embrace challenges and they look at challenges as a way to strengthen themselves and pursue a better version of themselves. So they also have strong faith in something bigger than themselves. So they believe that they can do more than what they have right now. Do they go to the camp? Yes, they go to the camp to rest, but not to stay. Okay, so they take a day off, a week off, but what happens is they recover in order to get back into the game. And their mind, and throughout the year, their mindset, their being, is about progress rather than comfort. So from a lifestyle standpoint, um, you might want to ask yourself at this point, and this you don't have to send a message for this, but I like you to assess where you are right now in terms of your lifestyle. Are you a quitter, a camper, or a climber? Self assessment, please. 30 seconds. Now, moving on. How about in work or in business? What's the difference? A quitter, what do? They do enough just to get by. O sige, eto na, okay na to. I'll just do my work and then go home by 5, 5:30. Yan yung nakatingin sa clock ng 4:45. 4:45 pa lang, nagbabalot na. Or they just do the minimum in their business. O break even lang, okay lang. Ganun. Now, they have very little ambition and minimal drive. So, kailangang utusan para gumalaw. Take very few risks, very safe. Yeah, unfortunately, they are the dead weight of an organization. These are the people that when high performers see them, these are the people that make people who are high performing awkward. Sino yung mga campers? In work or business, campers have some initiative, some drive, some effort. They do what is required, but they do not realize their full potential because they're just focused on what is required to have a certain basic comfort level. So they fall short of true abilities. They take calculated risks with very minimal threat. So, what do you mean calculated risk with minimal threat? So, ito yung mga, normally, I see this in my office mates. They have very good jobs. They have very good professions. They are very comfortable. But they do not pursue business. They don't decide to become entrepreneurs because they're afraid of losing what they currently have. Lastly, the climber. The climber embraces challenges and they want to live life with a sense of urgency. They do not want to waste time. Self-motivated and highly driven. So you will know a climber when you see them because in their jobs, they are the ones who stand out as leaders. So these are the people who try to get the most out of life. They squeeze the juice out of their work. They when you give them a task, they do not seek to meet expectations. They seek to exceed expectations. And these are the people who are focused on their long-term vision. So, how about you in your work or in your business right now? Do you behave as a quitter, doing just enough to get by? Are you a camper who puts some initiative, drive, and effort, and yeah, do what is required 2,000 points, 3,000 points? Or do you embrace the full potential of who you can be as a climber? 30 seconds, reflect, and assess where you are in terms of work or business. Okay, next. On growth and personal development, how do the quitter, camper, and climber differ? So, ang quitter does not pursue growth at all. Yan. So, obviously, walang quitter dito kasi tayo nandito sa online. They stay where they started. Wow. Started at a foot. After 10 years, nasa foot pa rin. The camper are people who are willing to grow to a certain extent. Oh, and only up to the level they can be comfortable. And so, if they begin to experience some discomfort in terms of personal growth, they retreat back to being comfortable. And they grow to a certain degree, but they have limited growth to no growth after they reach the campsite. Oh, anyway, made na ako, pwede na to, okay na to. So what happens because they stop go climbing, they experience something called atrophy. So what is atrophy? Atrophy is when the muscles decide after lack of movement and action and resistance, they eventually lose strength, and what happens is that they lose the ability to climb. So if you've been doing something very well and then you stop doing it, when you go back, you eventually lose the ability to do it effectively. So these are the people who progress, stay, then regress. The climbers are people who value Kaizen, or what they call continuous and never-ending improvement. These are the people who continues to develop new skills, talent, and leadership, and are very eager to learn and to grow. And they are devoted to the ascent, the uphill pursuit of personal development. Tonight, we are here to learn about personal development. The question is, are we here to learn or are we here to grow and apply what we learn? Some of us like to read and to listen, but we refuse the change that is required of us. Or some of us embrace the change and rise up to the next level of being. At this point, assess yourself in terms of your pursuit of personal development and growth. Are you a quitter, a camper, or a climber? Okay, next. In terms of language or dialogue, how will you know if you're a quitter, camper, or a climber? So how does a quitter speak? Pag may project na bago or may kailangan gawin, hindi pa nagsisimula, pero sabihin, I can't do that. That's not possible. That's not fair. That's not fair kasi siya magaling, ako hindi. Or they give an excuse, I'm too old, I'm too young, I'm too busy. I could if I wanted to. So they put preconditions to their success, which is their desire. So basically, they don't want to. That's why they do not achieve success. Or I'll try. Yan. Pag may narinig ka, hey, would you like to meet up to for coffee? Or would you like to do business? I'll try. Patay kang bata. I'll try pa lang, the mindset is already weak. The camper, anong sagot? Oh, itong trabaho, oh, pwede na to. Anyway, we've done more than what we've done before. Things could be worse, right? So they rationalize why the climb isn't all it's cracked up to be. Eh, kung akit naman tayo, pareho lang, malamig rin naman, may picture na rin naman tayo. Okay na, dito tayo sa campsite. We don't have to go all out, full on, to where, to the full potential. So ano sinasabi nila? May project. Ang sagot nila, I'll do my best. Paano kung your best is not enough? The climber mindset, pwede pa. Sige, let's go forward. I think we should challenge the status quo. We're growing already at a certain level, 10-20% per quarter. Okay, why don't we push for 40-50% per quarter? Kaya, everyone, can you ask everyone to mute their mics? So they think what can we do to improve? I'll make it happen. So at this point, you ask yourself, what is your dialogue? Are you a quitter, camper, or a climber? On change and adversity, the quitter rejects change, fight or flight response. Ayoko niyan, takbo ka agad. They quit at the first sign of adversity. The camper, they have limited capacity for change. Okay, up to a certain degree lang. May support some changes but not major changes. Oh, sige, hanggang ano lang kaya ng schedule ko. Weigh the risk and rewards of facing adversity. Baka kasi ganito mangyari sa akin. Baka isipin ibang tao, ganito ako. Limited adversity threshold.
Wala akong ano eh. Hindi nagmo-move. I don't have ano bang nandyan. Kasi ito,
Pangging. Pangging.
ano nga eh.
Pangging.
Yes, sorry. Oh,
Mute, please. Okay. So they will never know what they could have accomplished if they just pursued something bigger. Climber, they embrace if not drive the change. They are willing to grow. They welcome any opportunity to move up in any endeavor. Given a role, they are willing to step up. They thrive on change. In adversity, they eat it for breakfast. They understand it's part of life that will lift them up and become better people. Once upon a time, I asked my client, successful businessman, over 500 million revenue per year. O pare, John, may problema ba? Parang stress ka. Sabi niya, pare, alam mo, patay lang, walang problema. So, ang problema para sa kanya, eat it for breakfast. How about you? When you encounter adversity or change, how do you respond? Are you a quitter, a camper, or a climber? So, tonight, I'd like to invite everyone to reflect on their personal circumstances and how they have behaved, how you have behaved so far, in the context of self-reflection and intent to grow. So tonight, I would like to end this webinar by sending you a link on on a short video that will talk about thriving in the face of adversity. So I'll post this here so that we can watch it on our own before we go to sleep tonight, and I will log off so that everyone can focus on that. So with that, we'd like to lead you to the video, and we'll see you again tomorrow for our 7 p.m. online training on how to do effective one-on-ones. So have a great night, everyone, and please refer to the chat page for the link. Good night.